Let's talk about some tips and tricks to get the most out of your Surface Duo. So the first thing I want to get out of the way is the fact that the gesture navigation often feels a little bit clunky when you're trying to swipe up to go home and so forth. So a lot of people have recommended simply switching to the old school 3-button navigation. So let's take a brief moment and I'll show you how to switch back to that navigation. So what you will do is you'll pull down your notification shade to get to your settings. And then if you simply type in gesture in the search up here, you're looking for in any of these will eventually get you there, but system navigation is the quickest way to get there. And you can simply go from having this, one line down here where you have to swipe up to go home to having these 3 buttons, which now clicking the middle one takes you home, clicking the square brings up your task view, and the triangle is your back button. That is a simple way to just make things just feel a bit more predictable. Now, I have actually been using the gesture navigation again for the last couple of days because I'm trying to get better at understanding exactly how they want this to be used. The trouble is that it's difficult to tell, sometimes you swipe up and you're at a slight angle, so you wind up throwing the app to the other screen like that, or you swipe up but not for quite long enough, and then the app just goes up and doesn't close. What I have learned is that you have to be fairly precise with the gesture navigations in order for them to work. So if we pull up Twitter here, let me see if I can show you this actually in camera. If you're trying to just swipe up from off screen to on screen, that, obviously does work. But what I've noticed is that if you actually aim for the white line and then swipe up, for whatever reason, to me, that seems to be giving me much better consistency with it. And I'm having less issues with getting, basically making it just bounce up and down. It's actually seeming to work a bit better. May just be placebo effect. It may just be helping me be more accurate by aiming at a spot instead of just swiping like that right there. That's what I was running into before, that kind of stuff. Trying to close it, it's not closing. Aim there, seems to work better. Try that out, see what you think. I know it's not a huge thing, but see what that does for you. So number 2 on the list is something that I do to every phone that I get. And I've talked about it on the channel once already, but I'm going to talk about it again. So you go back into your settings. This time you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. You're going to click on About. You're going to scroll down to Build Number. You're going to click Build Number until it says Developer Options Enabled or something to that effect. At that point, you go back. And now under Systems, you'll have Developer Options. If you scroll down and you look for this section here, Window Animation Scale, Transition Animation Scale, and Animator Duration Scale, drop that from 1x down to 0.5. All that's going to do is it's going to speed up your animations. So just the animation of it going home will be half as fast, or half as long, I guess I should say, as it was before. All right, so here's a weird one that I actually couldn't figure out for a while. On most of these phones, when you get into your task view, which you get by swiping up from the bottom and holding down, you usually have a button that says Close All. There doesn't appear to be one, so that appears to mean that you're stuck with throwing apps away. In fact, if you go all the way down, there is a Close All button. Another tip involving the task view is if you bring this up, swiping to the left will throw the app away. Swiping across to the other screen will throw it to that screen and maximize it. All right, so what about better using your screen real estate? So let's say you've got an app open on your left screen. On Surface Duo, it is simple enough to drag up from the bottom, move this app to the other screen, and you get this white highlight over here that tells you where you're about to drop your app. What if you're using an app that supports spanning? Spanning is where you show one app across both screens. Same motion, except now you stop in the middle And boom, in supported apps, you now have a split window view where you have two things going on both screens. So in actual real world, so in the real world with the hinge down the middle, that looks like that, and it is super duper usable and overall a really good experience. You can select whatever news story you want to select and now be reading it on the other screen without losing focus over here. What if you want to come out of spanning mode? Well, now you've got two lines down here. Anywhere you swipe down at the bottom is going to work. You simply just swipe up and pick a screen and let go. There it is now on that screen. What if you're using an app that doesn't natively support spanning in that sense? So it's not going to give you that split view. What's going to happen if you span Twitter is Twitter's just going to span itself across both screens and just give you a gigantic view of Twitter, which, as I've shown in my review, will just look like that. Although if you do rotate it, you do get what I would consider to be a fairly usable experience. I've had people ask me, how do videos look if you go full screen and you span them across both screens? And the answer is not great. They look not great. Now, if you were to span them and then hold it in this orientation, though, that's actually quite usable. You can be browsing the comments or what have you at the bottom and be enjoying the video up at the top. So do you want to split view the actual video itself? No, you probably really don't. All right, what about something called app groups? So this is one of the coolest features of Surface Duo. As you see, I've got these icons over here on the left are called app groups. If I select one of these groups, what's going to happen is it's going to launch both apps in the group simultaneously. All right, so how do you make an app group? Let's say you're frequently viewing Twitter and Instagram simultaneously. Well, you can long press on Twitter, and actually you can do it on your home screen, or you can actually go into your app drawer. It does not matter. You can long press on Twitter, select groups, and then let's go over here and select Instagram and hit done. You can then name it something like, let's say, social media. You can swap which app is on which screen. Hit OK. And that will now be on your home screen. That will now be on your home screen. When you select it, there you go. There's both apps pulled up at the same time. Here's another one that I didn't figure out super quickly. I'm used to using phones that have screenshot gestures. When you're using the Surface Duo, if you want to take a screenshot on Surface Duo, you're going to simply press and hold the power button on the side of the device until you get that little menu pop up. And then as you can see, screenshot is there on the left. Now pressing that, strangely enough, does, even when it's closed, does still appear to be taking screenshots of both screens. So in this instance, since it was closed, nothing was on the other screen. So you have this rather strange screenshot of what's going on one screen and then nothing going on the other screen. But nonetheless, take a screenshot. You can crop that part out, whatever, no big deal. A lot of phones now come with the colors on the display really cranked up, oversaturated, crazy looking as far as I'm concerned. And this phone did for me come with vivid enabled. So if you're like me and you want to actually change that to a more natural, realistic color, you can go down to your settings, head into display, and then click on colors. Now, this is a point of preference. Maybe vivid looks great for you. It's going to be punchy. It's going to be saturated. It's going to look like Samsung phones. Personally, I'm an sRGB guy. I want accurate colors. While I don't take a lot of pictures on here, I have been using it to edit some pictures because it's a big screen. And personally, I want to know what the colors actually are, not just what my display is saying that they are. What about setting up new fingerprints for the device? Similar to what we've been doing here so far, let's go to your settings. Now we're going to go to security and fingerprint. You're going to have to punch in your PIN. And now at this point, you can add a fingerprint. And it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to take whatever finger it is that you're adding, and you're just going to touch in many different orientations. The fingerprint scanner is fast and accurate. I've had no problems with it at all so far. So now let's lock the device and unlock with that new fingerprint. There you go. Here's another one that I even struggled with in the beginning. So we're talking about the camera app. When you open up the camera app, it's going to be on one of the two screens. And obviously the front-facing camera is here. If it's on this orientation, you're just going to be looking back at you. Well, let's say you want to take a picture out into the world. Well, then you're going to have to take where the camera is, that screen, and you're going to have to flip it around. So now you have the camera facing outward. Okay, great. So how do you switch it back to selfie view? Now you could open it back up and drag it over. That would work. However, what they want you to do is to simply flip the device. And when you flip it, you saw the screen just turn off and now it's facing this way. Of course, I just flipped it and it changed back. So it's flip and it switched, flip again, and it should switch. What they want you to do is to just flip the device around. Now, you have to do this with some speed. You can't do it super slowly. That doesn't work. And if you do it too fast, that also doesn't seem to work. It is still inconsistent no matter how hard I try to make this work well. I'm going to try and just do it a few times here on camera, and you can see what I mean. So that worked. Well, it didn't actually. It started to work, but then instead it stayed on that screen. So now it flipped, and now it's facing me. Flip again. Now it's facing me. Flip again. That worked. That worked. That worked. Sometimes it works totally fine. Sometimes it doesn't. But like I said, you want to keep it at a decent speed, but not too quick, because sometimes it just doesn't want to work right. But at any rate, that is how it is supposed to be done. All right, so I've talked quite a bit about the keyboard on this device. So let's look at some of the settings and customizations that you do have on that keyboard. So if you go to type something, you've got your three dots here, and you have got several different options. We're going to look into the settings right now. Some interesting things you can do here under layout and keys is you can do things like adding a number row, adding arrow keys, and we can see what that would look like. Arrow keys are quite interesting to have if you're editing a lot of text. You can also resize the keyboard, make it as big or as small as you want. As you can see here, it's on the left screen, so it's indented over to the left so that it's easier to reach to. If this is on the right screen, it's going to indent itself the other direction. There are also different themes that you can apply to this keyboard in the same area. Some different options here as far as things like adding periods after hitting space twice, auto-correcting words. You want to have emojis being predicted as well. Lots of good options there for the keyboard. Here's an interesting one that might apply to some people. If you long press on Bluetooth and scroll down to Surface Pen writing hand, you can actually tell it what hand you use. I suppose this should help with things like palm rejection and things like that. Something a lot of people have asked me about is how I am actually recording this particular thing that I'm doing right now. Well, simply enough, if you go back from the same place, you can see link to Windows. If you click on that, you'll need to be signed in to your Windows account. And then the app that this is contained in is called Your Phone. So on your Windows PC, open up the Your Phone app. If you don't have it, go to the Windows Store and download it and follow the instructions to link these things up. At that point, you can actually see your notifications, messages, photos, take phone calls, so forth and so on. And on this particular device, you can actually cast your screen directly to it and control it. In fact, if I want to type something, I can type with my physical keyboard, and that works. On the Surface Duo's home screen, if you scroll all the way over to the left, you get this view on the side, which is customizable. Like, it can either be showing a list of news stories or your at-a-glance view. On the at-a-glance view, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom and you wait for that menu to go away, which I don't know why it's not, there it goes. If you click on Edit This View and scroll all the way down, you can actually add any widget from any app that you want. So let's say we're going to put time and weather there. Well, now that's going to be at the bottom. Hit Edit This View. You can drag that widget up to anywhere you want it to be. We'll put it there. Let's go back, and now you'll see it right there in the middle. Here's one that I've been using quite a bit, one that I've really been enjoying. If you long press on text, obviously like any Android device, you can copy that text. But what I really love about Surface Duo is being able to copy text and then have open the place where I'm going to paste it right there on the other screen. How cool is that? So if you're moving text from one page to another, absolutely awesome for something like that. Do be sure to check out the latest episode of Podcast Revived at scaryifliteral.com. So guys, there are probably a million more tips that I could add to this video. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of things. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of general Android tips that could potentially help on this device. If you think of something that I should have included, please throw it in the comments. If it's a good one, I'll try and pin it up to the top. I'll try and maybe even add it to the description and credit it to you. Plenty more Surface Duo videos coming. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends. If you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a Scary If Literal member. You'll get access to a whole bunch of emoticons to use with live streams and a shout out on an upcoming video. Thanks as always for your continued support.